Fit check. Fit check.
Come on.
Well, I'm just casual Friday.
Come on, look at me. Look at me.
Casual Friday.
Gubernatorial, where I came in second place, we had a significant number of crossover voters who were voters of mine as well as voters of Graham. Graham and I share a lot of the same progressive ideals, like Medicare for all, taxing billionaires. But make no mistake, there will be a challenge to make sure that the party is unified. Without a unified party, Senator Collins will win re-election, and that will be to the detriment of all Mainers.
For months, the populist progressive energy inside the Democratic Party has been concentrated in blue cities. But now that movement is testing something bigger. Can a Democratic socialist win over voters in one of America's most competitive swing states? Does the energy in New York, LA, DC, and Denver translate in the Midwest? Progressive Democratic Senate candidate Abdul El-Sayed of Michigan certainly thinks so. And in Wisconsin, Democratic Socialist Assemblywoman Francesca Hong is now leading the polls in the state's Democratic primary for governor. Assemblywoman Hong joins me now. It is great to see you this morning and to have you on. I want to start our conversation just digging in a little bit into your background, because it's different than the backgrounds of a lot of the politicians that we speak to. You're the child of Korean immigrants. At one point, you had to drop out of college to work. And
who we rooting for in Wisconsin? Francesca Hong all the way, baby. What the fuck are you talking about? And one of the things that you will see in this interview that Fox News covered is the same thing that they're trying to do with Abdul. They're trying to hit her with the Abdul line. Why did you appear on Hasan Piker's stream? Don't you regret it?
You were sued last year over credit card debts that you've since paid off, but that's something that many Americans can actually relate to, but maybe not too many governors or lawmakers. So tell me a bit about how your personal upbringing has informed your politics.
Well,
I'm interview mogging, MSNBC, MSDNC. I asked this question way better.
first of all, thank you so much, Antonio, for having me. And being a service industry worker means that, I am a hustler, and I know what it means to work hard, like so many Wisconsinites across the state. And my lived experiences in the service.
David Crowley dropped out and told everyone else to drop out and support Rodriguez is fuck, dog. Yeah. I know. They are aggressively trying to push the centrist line of support behind one candidate. They're trying to solidify centrist support behind Rodriguez right now. And the other side of the story, of course, is Mandela Barnes, who previously had who previously ran as a left flank candidate, and they dropped the National Party did not support him for that reason. So now Barnes is actually running a centrist candidacy himself, but he still has like a little bit of that progressive wing backing him as well. So Francesca actually has, even though she's the most popular and has been the most popular candidate in the primaries, there are a lot of forces. There are a lot of forces that are at play here that are trying to rat fuck Francesca Hong's candidacy.
Service industry, as a restaurant owner, and 5 years now in the state legislature, I think it gives me an opportunity to connect with voters in many different ways.
Tell me about those connections, because as I've watched your campaign from afar, you're not just going out there and talking to Democrats. You are crossing through your state, trying to talk to.
Yeah, Mandela Barnes losing to Ron Johnson was a scarring incident. And it wasn't because of his own faults or failures. It was literally because he was running as the most progressive person at that point. And when that happened, the National Party did not back him at all. They were too busy fucking deploying all funds to, if I remember, DSCC didn't support him, and they basically chose not to give him any aid. And the party was spending money elsewhere, like very foolish races, like, Val Demings and all these other foolish races. Whereas Mandela Barnes, like with a little bit of support, would have definitely actually defeated Ron Johnson. It was a huge deal back then, I remember. Having said that, Mandela Barnes is not the progressive hero either. I'm just saying, in comparison to fucking Ron Johnson, he would have been much better. And Mandela Barnes is basically in this race right now, and has decent viability, and is probably the best challenger to Francesca Hong, which is really, really bad. Unfortunately, I hope. I mean, the right thing to do for Barnes would be to literally drop out and lend all of his support to Francesca Hong. But none of these guys, unfortunately, actually give a shit about a movement. They're not real movement builders. They are simply in it for themselves. That is the reality.
More conservative residents in Wisconsin. And I'm curious how it goes when you connect with them and then they hear that word socialist, which in so many of our media ecosystems is, something that they're told to be very afraid of.
Yeah, I know people who are longtime friends with Barnes, and I can tell you from the friends he keeps, he definitely ain't no progressive. Yeah, there was another person who literally said, I used to be friends with Barnes. Yeah, Mandela and I used to be friends, and now he's so moderate, shit sucks. Yeah, he pivoted. When he got cooked by the National Democrats from the DSCC and got no support, and he lost that race, I think it bricked him, and it made him into this Warrenite style wrecker.
I love talking to everyone and anyone, literally sometimes stopping folks in the streets. And what we hear so often is that people are stressed, they're tired, and they're ready for change as opposed to this chaos. I think that when folks hear socialism, they may be taken aback, but I bring it back to potholes and the Packers and public education and issues that have broad bipartisan support and broad bipartisan opposition, like data centers, and then support for our public schools and universal childcare, lowering working class people's taxes by taxing the wealthiest few and mega corporations. These are issues and conversations that I'm having with folks in every corner of our state.
I want to talk to you and dig in a bit more.
What do the dumbass fucking Packers have to do with this? Fuck the Packers? Bro, shut the fuck up. Shut your bitch ass mouth up, okay? We're talking about the beautiful state of Wisconsin. Go Packers all day, every day. I'm a fucking cheesehead. Ride or die. Sorry. It's the only publicly owned fucking team, okay? It's the only motherfucking publicly owned team in the goddamn NFL. How dare you? How dare you? Public ownership, baby. Potholes, Packers, public schools, Francesca Hong in 5. Order a cheesehead? Are you fucking kidding me? I will be wearing that goddamn cheesehead when I go to Wisconsin. I'm coming. Wisconsin, I'm coming to your state. And I'll be wearing that goddamn cheesehead everywhere I go.
On data centers, because that's a huge issue, not just in Wisconsin, but around the country. And I know that there are some voters and some who are not Democrats considering you because of your stance on AI data centers. You've called for a moratorium on their construction. Your state already has dozens of them, though. And I'm wondering what you think you can really deliver for voters with a moratorium, and if there's any risk of Wisconsin losing out if construction continues all across the country.
These dozens of data centers across Wisconsin are exempt from sales and use tax, and the construction of more hyperscale AI data centers, the response has been that communities want community control, not NDAs and promises of jobs, but real concrete measures that will put regulations that preserve our natural resources, protect ratepayers from skyrocketing utility costs, and that we are thinking about our shared future for our kids where there's clean water, lower costs, and taxpayers aren't on the hook for what could happen when these data centers are no longer in use.
I want to talk to you a bit about some of the debates and controversies that have also been a part of this race, because while we talked about socialism and sort of the labels coming from the right, the reality is that there are criticisms that have come on the left as well. You appeared on 2 controversial live streams, one with Hassan Piker, another with a guy called Mike from Pennsylvania. Former Democratic Wisconsin Elections Commissioner Ann Jacobs said of your appearances this: when you decide these are the sort of people you want to hang out with in order to raise money, you have made clear that you either 1, agree with them, or 2, can be bought, or 3, both. Fran Hong appears to be all. She is willing to sell out the Jews of Wisconsin for a few bucks. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond to that.
I condemn hatred, discrimination, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia, any sort of dehumanizing of communities. Being on these streams, it's important that we get our message out in places where campaigns struggle to reach voters. Just because I am on a platform certainly does not mean that I endorse everything that has been said.
MSNBC, by the way. MSNOW. Calling me and Michael from Pennsylvania controversial. This is the most liberal mainstream media network. All I'm going to say is this. I've never appeared on MSNOW. I've never appeared on MSNOW. Think. Jonathan Greenblatt, on the other hand, appears on MSNOW all the time. Yeah. My dog Kyra says hello. She also says she's happy for not having an electric collar. Hell yeah. My dog Kyra is also happy for not having an electric collar.
By either the hosts or other people who have gone on. And if candidates and elected officials who are speaking with more controversial hosts, if we are to be responsible for everything that they have ever said, I would point to the fact that Tom Tiffany...
I like how everyone just concedes to the idea that you're anti-Semitic and a terrorist. They just say they don't agree with your beliefs. It's fucking bullshit, to be honest. I don't care. I don't care because I don't want Abdul or Francesca to get bogged down defending the most negatively framed choice quotes that they're going to slam if they come across like they're endorsing everything that I've ever said. Okay? You have to be pragmatic. Obviously, if these people thought that I was a fucking vicious anti-Semite, they wouldn't come on my broadcast, okay? If they thought that myself or Michael from Pennsylvania were like rabid anti-Semites, then they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't come on my podcast, my broadcast, or his, right? It's just a very effective way to deflate this bad faith smear, this bad faith attack. Especially because it has nothing to do with policy, and these are policy-centered campaigns, okay? These are policy-centered campaigns. The best thing you can do in the circumstances is be like, look, I'm talking to a bunch of people that we have left behind. I'm not going to endorse every single thing that any content creator has said. But having said that, of course I'm going to go there to talk to people. Of course I'm going to go to talk to people. I don't agree with everything you've said, but I'm here talking to your audience, right? And as governor of a swing state, what I'm doing every day is talking to Trump voters, right? Hey, young man, do you have some kind of resource illustrating how you're not anti-Semitic against these ADL third way websites, like a formal resource or something? I mean, not really. It's just my my long, many years of advocacy. These elections aren't ego tests for you. If they need to shit on you to win, you don't give a shit. The reality is that those who you talk to, like Fran, Zoran, Abdul, understand that they don't have to shit on you to still be on the right side of issues. Exactly. If they were to turn around and be like, yeah, Hasan, I'm really sorry for going on his stream. Okay? I'm really sorry for going on his stream. He's really bad. He's really fucked up or whatever. That actually would not just like ruin their credibility, but that actually would be a massive mistake. Not because I'm like a super popular person, right? I'm not saying that at all. But it would be a mistake because then they would be admitting guilt when no such guilt needs to be admitted. Then they would say, oh, well, why did you go on a stream then? Are you stupid? Why did you do that? Like, so that would be a sign of weakness, and that would be weaponized against them. Okay? That would be weaponized against them endlessly. As a matter of fact, them refusing to back down on these appearances and also deflecting on these appearances, like being raised as an issue, is the smart thing to do, because they get to solidify not only their support for certain causes, right? But then also on top of that, they get to show that they're real fighters, that they're not going to back away from certain issues, like their moral convictions, right, on certain issues, especially on Israel, which is huge. And not only that, but they also get to reframe the conversation about how open-minded they are about. They get to reframe the conversation around like being able to talk to people where they are. Okay.
The Republican likely nominee, has been on a radio show that has called for the execution of the governor of Minnesota. So I think it's important to recognize that when we are campaigning in areas where folks may not have...
Are you going to talk about this? Dude, what's happening? You spammed the chat with bullshit. Yeah, I saw, man. I don't care. Yeah, she literally said she was wrong and apologized for it. The fuck do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Who are you in the tank for? Because let me tell you something, okay? Francesca Hong is far above everybody else in this fucking race in terms of her advocacy for Palestinians. So who are you in favor of? Who is your replacement? Who the fuck do you think is better on this issue? Yes, Francesca Hong apologized when she saw an effigy that she thought was anti-Semitic. Her constituents were calling her on it. She called 911 to be like, hey, can you guys take this down? Like, this looks like a hate crime, okay? This was in 2023. Do you feel like this is a valid critique? Like, she apologized for it. She literally said she regrets the decision, that she was wrong about it, that she's sorry for it. Do you feel like this is a relevant point? She's over here literally fucking defending going on my stream, going on Michael from Pennsylvania's stream, saying like we got to go on these different places. So what is it? Why are you bringing this up? Yeah, people tricked her by cropping photos, and she introduced the bill at the suggestion of the artist. 33% of your chat left your community for less? Yes, I know. She lied about it. She's flip-flopping. Yes, this is very concerning about her judgment. Who are you invested in this race? Tell me right now. I will endorse them instead. Who's your guy? Or gal? Come on. Go ahead. We're waiting. I want to hear. Who's your person? She called it a genocide a week after October 7th. She was a leader in the uncommitted movement in Wisconsin. She has done the fucking laps. She has the legitimacy. This is not only a fuck up, certainly, okay, but it's an explainable one. Tell me who your guy is. Following since 38 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago. I think we can have a conversation about how concerning this is. Why is that crazy? Explain to me why you think it's appropriate to tarnish the actual moral conviction demonstrated by a person who was who has gone above and beyond on this issue. Explain to me why you think someone who's an advocate for not only BDS, but also an embargo on Israel, running for Wisconsin governor, is being called into question. Okay, is being called into question. Who is your person in this race? Who's your person in this race? Who's your preferred candidate? I'm asking you a super simple question. Who is your preferred candidate? Not Fran. Okay, so who is it? Ultra or APAC intern, call it? No, this is nothing. Who's your preferred candidate? Carlos Dixon. Carlos Dixon is your preferred candidate. Independent writing campaign, Carlos Dixon. I think you're talking to him right now. No, I'm not. I think this person looked up whoever they could potentially, because they said not Fran at first, after I kept asking over and over again. Okay. Writing candidate for Wisconsin governor posts videos of himself removing yards from signs. Writing candidate for Wisconsin governor posted a video on social media of himself. Carlos Lamar Dixon, an independent candidate for governor, posted the video to Facebook on May 27, pulling yard signs out of lawns in Milwaukee's Riverwest neighborhood. Dixon targeted campaign signs for State Rep Francesca Hong's gubernatorial campaign and State Rep Ryan Clancy's re-election campaign. Both of those candidates are supported by the Democratic Socialists of America, or DSA. Dixon told the Milwaukee Courier that the yard signs are being held hostage and for ransom in opposition to the DSA's campaigns. Dixon ties the DSA organization to Zionists and the Israeli government. I'm an anti-Zionist. I'm an anti-imperialist. I am anti-colonialism. That's what motivated me to do it, Dixon said. I don't want to make a version of capitalism that works for America. We need a revolution right now. Dixon said it's a contradiction that the Hong campaign is running on an affordability agenda while asking for donations. Hong claims, dude, I'm sorry. Every damn day that I have to fucking deal with another spiritual Spartacist is another damn day where I get closer and closer to certain excesses and certain political concepts that I never thought I would be understanding of, never thought I would be sympathetic to. Okay? Oh my fucking God. No, this is not an ultra. It's worse. It's a trot. I always wondered when I first ventured into left book territory many, many years ago, all the way pre 2016, I always wondered why one of the number one rules in every left book group was no trots. At first I was like, what is the reason for this? What's up with the fucking trots? Why is every ideological tendency on the left saying no fucking trots? Why is that the reason? You learn the fucking reason fairly early on. Thank you. Yeah. Pie in the sky idealism. A revolution that never came. A demand against pragmatism every single step of the way. And then turning into a fucking neocon later down the line. Telltale markers of a... Never mind. I don't even want to move into this any longer. Okay? Yeah. One of the most famous former Spartacists is Jim Cramer. Mad Money Jim Cramer. Always remember that! Look, there are plenty of instances where MLs will get mad at me and will yell about my destructive behavior of the revolutionary tendency, a bastardization of Lenin's writings. Well, I guess trots do that too, because they also will talk about Lenin on great terms. Thank you for this, chatter. This guy isn't a trot. He's just very mentally ill. Well,
a Milwaukee man running for governor of Wisconsin is stealing political campaign signs around town and posting videos about it on social media. Even though it's illegal, he says he won't stop doing it. Check this out.
So you're running for governor, but it appears you're breaking laws every day. Why should Wisconsinites trust you?
I mean, am I breaking any laws? I'll have that
Carlos Lamar Dixon
all day long.
has spent this past week recording himself,
Enjoy your Ring doorbell camera.
stealing campaign signs of Democratic gubernatorial candidate Francesca Hong
Not this bull right here, though.
and 19th District Representative Ryan Clancy. Dixon, who says he's an independent write-in candidate for governor, filmed this video Thursday in Milwaukee's River West neighborhood and posted it to Facebook. When was the first time you've done this? Is this new?
It is new. I think it was yesterday.
Dixon says he's not stealing the signs. Instead,
Taking signs for ransom as hostage. I am anti-MAGA. I am anti-capitalism. I am anti-establishment. I am anti-Zionism. So whoever falls under those categories can feel the wrath of my political dissent.
on Thursday, Dixon insisted 12 News interview him.
interesting that he's only going after Democratic Socialist candidates, though. Interesting.
In front of a Milwaukee police station.
If I do get arrested, I'll get out and I'll try to find some more signs.
So you're not concerned about being...
Not concerned at all.
We asked Milwaukee police if they're aware of the Facebook videos. The department said they did not have any calls for service regarding them. Dixon also posted on Facebook Thursday, writing, quote, "Politicians should be grateful that all I want is yard signs and not their heads." Was that a threat?
Was it a threat? I'm asking you a question. Was it a threat?
I'm asking you, was it a threat?
I'm asking you, was it a threat?
Dixon says his sign stealing will cross political lines and target a GOP gubernatorial candidate too.
I see some Tom Tiffany signs out there. I'm going to go snatch those up if I get the chance.
He doesn't know how many signs he's taken, but claims they're all at his home.
This is the candidate of this guy's choosing who was like, Francesca Hong is bad.
Have already heard our message. It's important to let them.
Campaign lawn signs are a vehicle of bourgeois capitalist and imperialist oppression on the proletariat of the world. If you really think about it, it's true. It's funny, the deeper you go into like leftist movements, the more experience you have in these spaces, the more you will see these people over and over again. They always prop up.
Know that we are a campaign that is fighting for working class people, and it's important that folks are staying engaged on our elections here in Wisconsin.
I want to ask you about how Israel and Gaza have also reshaped this race. It's reshaped the Democratic Party all across the country. It's not just the case in Wisconsin. You have made very clear, you've said that you believe Israel has committed genocide in Gaza. And there's also been this debate in your state over an incident from 2023 in which you called the police twice to report an anti-Israel protest display of some kind on behalf of constituents who told you at that time that they believed that it was anti-Semitic. You've since apologized for doing that. Can you explain why?
I was unaware that this was an act of protest. I did not see the words ceasefire now, and I was responding to community members and my constituents that had expressed deep concern over that display. And so I was responding to people's fear and pain, and I always will choose.
There's trots in the DSA too, by the way. I'm not talking about all of them, all right? Talking about a very specific type.
To make sure that communities feel safe. And as a democratic socialist, it means that my values are rooted in democracy, fairness, and human rights. And whether it's here or across different parts of the country or across the world, it's important that we denounce genocide and call it for what it is, and vow to protect communities and ensure that everyone feels safe in practicing their faith.
With our final seconds here, can you just tell me?
They followed 40 minutes ago, subbed the post, and then deactivated their account, by the way. I'm willing to bet that is actually him. At first, I didn't think that was the case, but low-key, that is definitely him. It's either him or a federal agent at this point. This guy's on my feed every day. I hate him. I'm from Milwaukee. He constantly hates on Hong and calls you out. By the way, that was him earlier. Respect. That was definitely him. What is this? Look at my communist dog. Oh, dude, come on. Stop. We're not doing that. No. That's bait. I don't want to touch that right now. Stop it.
Bit about how you plan to build on the legacy of Tony Evers in the state.
Because that's like twofold. Look, I just did the Socialist Worker Party Marxist conference, okay? I don't want to get into this right now. That's a trot organization, is it not?
Someone that many Democrats still have immense affection for there, and maybe wondering sort of how your policies, your process may build on his.
We will carry forward the governor's passion for public education, ensuring that we are fully funding our public schools and public universities, that our governor has been forced to govern by defense, and Democrats now have an opportunity to win back the trifecta and ensure that we are delivering for Wisconsinites on healthcare, on public schools, on environmentalism. Our Wisconsin progressive roots run deep, and this is a state where so many progressive ideals and policies have come from, and we're ready to move those forward and deliver for Wisconsinites.
Francesca Hong, so good to have you on MS Now. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Antonia.
Look, all you need to know about some of the Trot tendencies is that
if Democrats
they get the benefit of leaning into a profoundly important participation of the revolution who never actually seized power afterwards. So they never had to deal with all of the issues of governance. Okay? That's it. That's the nicest, most charitable interpretation of people who love Trotsky and believe that he would have done a better job than Stalin. Okay? The problem is there's one element of Trotsky, who was a fantastic writer for the record. There's one element of Trotsky that some Trots carry the flame on, which is being unparalleled in being a fucking nuisance. Okay? It's insane. Down to motherfucking Frida Kahlo. The encounters. The encounters show the history.
have any hope of winning control of the Senate this November, virtually every path involves holding each seat that they currently control while flipping 4 Republican-held seats. The most vulnerable of the states that they are currently defending is now Michigan, which MSNOW rates as a toss-up. With the Democratic primary now less than a month away, the latest poll shows a statistical dead heat. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, a 4-term moderate, has the support of 42% of voters.
Not Haley Stevens carrying the flame. I mean, we do it too, so let's be real. We do it too here, folks. Folks! We do it too. As long as you subscribe. If you subscribe for $6 or for free or gift a sub. If you subscribe for $6 or for free or gift a sub, we too can carry the flame like Haley Stevens.
According to a new Politico poll, while Abdul El-Sayed, a progressive former public health official, gets the support of 41%. This is all well within the margin of error. And it is important to note that a full 18% in this survey say they are not sure who they'll support, which means this is a race that could flip at any moment. We have extended invitations to both of the Democratic candidates, and one of them joins me now, Abdul El-Sayed, Democratic candidate for the United States Senate in Michigan. Abdul, thank you for joining us. I just laid out some of the polls, and I think a lot of people know that you had been leading.
You'll never guess who Haley Stevens endorsed in the 2020 run for president? Michael Bloomberg. Easy question. Don't even come at me on my Haley Stevens trivia. Huh. You think I'm not the fucking king of Haley Stevens trivia? What do you mean? By the way, between Abdul and Haley, only one literally took out a dude who's not only Jewish, but is like a prominent fixture in the Jewish community, Andy Levin. It's so funny. Haley Stevens did something objectively more anti-Semitic than Abdul El-Sayed ever could do, which was go after a candidate that was like somewhat critical of Israel, or pretty critical of Israel at the time. And take him out at the behest of AIPAC.
In the polls when it was a 3-person race. But then after Mallory McMorrow dropped, Haley Stevens has closed in on you. So how are you going to win?
Level 3 hype train if you want me to carry the flame, if you want, what gives? If you want me to carry the flame, subscribe or gift a sub. What gives? Level 5 hype train. Just ignore me, thank you. What Tommy says? What Tommy says? Thank you for the 50 subs. What gives?
This race, like, who is your coalition?
So thank you first for having me. And I just want to draw attention that that poll wasn't from Politico. That poll seems to be funded by AIPAC, and they are really eager to generate this idea that somehow all of these voters who would have supported my past opponent, Mallory McMorrow, are now supporting the current opponent, Haley Stevens. But look,
can I make a point about that? I wanted to ask you about those kind of polls, but since you brought it up, I'm wondering, because I have heard similar things about a poll that you put out that showed that you all were, I think it was something like 13 or 16 points ahead of Haley Stevens. I am somebody that knows intimately polls don't vote, people do. So I guess I take it back to whether the polls are being juiced or not. What is the coalition that you think you can put together to win in this primary?
Well, I'll tell you this. We're already putting it together. I've been up and down the state, 110 different cities now, 450 public events. And polling, you're right, is this really imperfect science. What really matters is who you can energize to bring out. Most polls agree that I am dominating the field among young people, 83-6 at this point. And then you have communities of color, whether that is the Black community in Detroit, where I served, or across Wayne County. That is communities of color, including the Latino community and the Arab and Muslim community. And then you have voters out in the rest of the state, folks who are affiliated with Indivisible. That's done an amazing job organizing. And then, of course, you have labor, dominant, mighty labor in Michigan. We've been proud to earn the endorsement of the UAW, endorsements of the AFT and the National Nurses United, and the vast majority of labor members in the state of Michigan. And more importantly, right, we are having a conversation every single day with folks who are asking, how do we come together to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all? As we all know, in 2024, unfortunately, Michigan went to Donald Trump. And that was because we could not keep
Level
a together that
6 on
included
the
a lot of
hype
those
train.
quote unquote undecided or middle voters. I don't know that middle is the right term, but I do know that there are a lot of people who've been alienated by politics on both sides of the aisle, and we're reaching out to them to actually talk about what it looks like to bring people back to the center of our politics rather than be dominated by corporations, which, unfortunately, whether you're talking about Haley Stevens or Mike Rogers, tend to be funded that way.
You know, the point you made about 2024, I mean, Michigan elected Donald Trump, but also sent Alyssa Slotkin to the United States Senate. So there were clearly some split ticket voters. I want to go back to the coalition piece here, because when you look at like what Trump did in, which I have thoughts about, what he did in Michigan, Detroit turnout was a little bit softer, right? Macomb County was more Republican. Rural counties definitely maxed out. There were working class voters that moved to the right. And then the Democratic margins among Black men and young people were slightly smaller than what they needed to be. So I called up a lot of Black folks in Michigan today that I know. I've worked a lot of campaigns in my former life. And I talked to some people that are squarely in your camp. I've talked to some people that said they are not in your camp. And I've talked to some people that said, look, either one could get elected. One of the things that I heard is that some people are hesitant to support you because you didn't support Kamala Harris in 2024.
That's literally not true. He was the first Muslim leader in the state. Talking shit. What is this? Oh yeah, no, he's not talking shit. He's talking about Abdul El-Sayed holding several positions in Detroit and Wayne County government and got 30% of the vote for a run for governor in 2018, saying like he has been vetted. Abdul's biggest problem was he was right too early, man. Level 6 hype train almost done. Level 6 hype train is at 50 seconds remaining at 92%. What gives? Hasan's biggest donor. 30 seconds remaining. Will we carry the flame or not? Paralyzed Pendant Plug. What gives? Thank you for the 10. Make feed art with the 50. Level 7 hype train. Is it K-pop one? Okay, fine, whatever. Not yet. Not yet. What gives? Level 7 hype train almost done. You're actually getting a little better at the accent. It's weird. This is how you get better at the accent. You just keep doing it. Maddie Maroon. Trump's biggest donor. %90 at level 7 hype train. Sorry. 90%. You saw a post, level 8 hype train. You saw a post on r/Michigan, and people in Michigan were saying they don't recognize our accent. Isn't it Upper Peninsula? Isn't that what it is? No? That's not Uper? No, it's like what a West Coaster thinks the Midwest sounds like. I don't know what it is, but I like it. Isn't it early for food, bro? The level of parasocialism is unbelievable. Like, motherfuckers are timing when I eat my lunch, bro. Level 8 hype train, 3 minutes remaining, 17%. Only 2 levels until we carried the flame.
Like, what are you trying to do to bring people together?
Can I just address that straight up?
Yeah.
I definitely endorsed Vice President Harris in 2024. I endorsed her.
Why are they saying
the
you
day
didn't?
after she was the nominee? Yeah, well, it's some mis and disinformation. Look, when the other side has $40 million of AIPAC money to spend, they move a lot of disinformation. And I got the receipts to prove it. The truth of the matter is I endorsed her, even though I had endorsed uncommitted, because at the end of the day, whether you saw this election from the eyes of a child in Detroit or the eyes of a child in Gaza, Vice President Harris would have been so much better. And I spent a lot of time both on the phone with leaders in the Arab and Muslim community, in basements and living rooms, having conversations about just how crazy Donald Trump really would be in a second term, and having conversations with the Harris campaign about why they needed to move on policy regarding the Middle East. Unfortunately, the outcome was a catastrophe. It was one of the most frustrating 3-month periods of my whole life. I learned a lot in that period, and I bring that to this work. I think anybody who wants to divide us about what happened in the past is missing the opportunity to bring us together.
Chat's so funny. Chat getting mad at Abdul saying he was one of the first in the Muslim community to endorse Kamala Harris, as though that's like a fucking bad thing in Wayne County. Dude. Are you insane? It's a Democratic primary, dude. What are you talking about? I don't get it. It would literally, first of all, it would cook his ass if he hadn't. Right now, they'd be blasting that shit nonstop. Guys, Cori Bush was presented as a spoiler who hates the Democrats in Missouri 1. AIPAC knows how to fucking AIPAC knows how to activate people. Please. We're talking about someone running in the Democratic Party primary in a state that has a lot of black voters too. And not just black voters, but just like there is, as I've described to you already, there's a little bit of tension there between Dearborn and Detroit. And it's an interesting tension because the black voters in general, and just like black people in Michigan in general, are very supportive of Palestine, but also at the same time, they're annoyed with what they perceive were, the Dearborn people, Muslims, Arab voters, voting for Donald Trump. It's not the biggest issue, but Abdul just neutralizing that immediately and not allowing AIPAC to fucking slam that narrative in is perfect.
Future. And I'll tell you, as the first Arab or Muslim leader in Michigan to endorse Vice President Harris, I really want our party to recognize that we were wrong on that issue, and we have an opportunity to get right on principles moving forward.
I have to say, because again, I talked to a lot of different people today, and I think that the piece that I was hearing about the support or lack thereof for Vice President Harris in 2024 comes from a place where people are like, I don't really know him that well. I heard a lot of folks say to me that, you're very charismatic, you give a great speech, but that they haven't seen you in their communities, particularly, and I talked to some young black leaders and some older black leaders. Now, the folks that I talked to that have decided that they are in your camp said, look,
I'm not going to say anything here. I'm sorry. This is literally, straightforwardly, the most insane. Anything that I say going forward will be visibly weaponized against me, so I'm not going to say anything. But I don't think this is a fair interpretation of a person who worked in Wayne County in public health, specifically in Detroit. I feel like this criticism seems a little bit I don't know how to say this without coming across as I'm just not going to say anything. I don't know if this criticism is valid, and it's not one that I have heard from people, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm shocked that it's coming from Simone, who literally worked for Bernie Sanders, who got this criticism the whole time. Hassan's new pharmacist. You have not paid attention to Simone's commentary after she stopped working for the Bernie Sanders campaign, I think. Also, we're at level 9 hype train with 1 minute remaining. Level 9 hype train. Level 9 hype train, 14%. 1 minute remaining. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute remaining. Okay? One minute remaining. Will we make it at level 9? What gives? Who will be Hassan's biggest donor? Lil B Stan. Make feed art. Thank you for the 50. Designer Dragon. Thank you for the 5. Jen Lime. Thank you for the 25. And that's it. On that note, we hit level 10 hype train, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.